I think it's important to talk about this Rolling Stones article because I don't think people, specifically in southern states, know that Republicans are repealing your paid sick leave. Republicans aren't just gutting healthcare, they're taking your sick leave too. GOP controlled legislatures have rolled back and narrowed voter approved paid sick leave policies. Across the private sector and state and local governments, around 26.5 million employees do not have access to paid sick leave, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics released this year. The disparity is concentrated among low-income, part-time, and service industry workers, only about half of whom have access to paid sick days. Among the lowest 10% of earners, only 41% have paid sick leave, while 94% of the top 25% of earners have it. There is no federal law guaranteeing what, in most developed countries, is an uncontested, uncontroversial workers' right. In fact, even as voters push to codify sick leave policies into local law, this year alone, at least 3 Republican-controlled states are attempting to roll back leave provisions. In Missouri, voters overwhelmingly approved a referendum guaranteeing statewide paid sick leave and an increase to the state's minimum wage. Shortly after the mandate went into effect, Republicans in the legislature repealed it outright. In Nebraska, Republicans tracked an amendment to a similar law, also passed by referendum, that significantly narrowed the pool of businesses covered and which employees were entitled to the benefit. The amendment also stripped employees of the right to sue over the enforcement of the law. In Alaska, the state's Republican administration worked to limit the scope of its own ballot-approved sick leave law via regulations instituted by the Alaska Department of Labor and Workforce Development. I just don't understand, what's the point of voting then? There was a mandate for paid sick leave and an increase in minimum wage, and the Republicans were like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to listen to you. So, what's the fucking point of voting then? What's the point, considering that there was a mandate for paid sick leave, and these fuckers said no? 57% of the people voted for it. Missouri Senate Minority Leader Doug Beck, a Democrat, tells Rolling Stone of the state's referendum, 109 out of 163 representative districts, which would be a supermajority, voted for it. 20 out of 34 Senate seats voted for it, and 6 congressional seats voted for. So it's pretty much a mandate. Republicans overturned that. Beck says Democrats tried to negotiate a way to preserve coverage for as many Missourians as possible, even if it meant limiting what businesses would be subject to the law, only to have the rug pulled out from them at the last minute. Got there and they renegade on their deal in the middle of the night, he added. The most vocal group against this was the restaurant industry, which relies on underpaying workers, Beck said, adding that the Missouri Chamber of Commerce had also lobbied heavily against the legislation. Imagine being such scum, you're lobbying against paid sick leave. That's fucking awesome. In states that have passed it, the vast majority of employers do support it, Huckleberg adds, pointing to data indicating that paid sick leave policies actually save businesses billions of dollars in the long run and improves health outcomes for individuals and families. There's piles of data that show this is good for business, this is good for public health, and yet in this country, we refuse to take action. Everything Republicans are doing in the healthcare realm is making people more sick, and people will die, she said. I live in Alaska, Nebraska, and Missouri. And I would let them know that this is extremely disturbing. How dare they be against paid sick leave? And if they don't get paid, then their governors, the senators, the congresspeople, they shouldn't be paid for sick leave either. That's the thing about these people. They only think about their billionaire friends. They only think about how can I help this person? So later on when I want something revolving money, I get it because I already did this favor. It's truly so corrupt. And yet it's something that's continued to happen. And I think Republicans who have voted Republican their entire life just turned Republican, it doesn't matter, need to understand that the Republicans, the pedophile protectors, they truly could give a single fuck about you. Because if you're against paid sick leave, I mean, that should tell you enough, right?